Hi, I'm Zoe. I'm the editor of Hitched.
I'm Maisie. I'm the assistant editor. So the data from our National Wedding Survey is in, and we are going to talk about the average cost of a wedding in 2025. Zoe, what is the average cost of a wedding?
This is a big subject, isn't it? So the average cost of a wedding has gone up.
Right.
And we are now seeing it stand at £23,250.
Goodness me, that's gone up so much. How? Why?
It's gone up 12% year over year. But what I want to say before we get into the whys is that this is an average. So when we pull this data, we are getting information from couples who spent very little on their wedding, and we're getting information from couples who spent hundreds of thousands on the wedding, right? You know, that there's a broad range of data at play here. And I don't want people to fixate on this number and think, this is what I must spend, or this is what I should spend, or think this shouldn't cost any more than this, because there's so many variables at play here. And I think it's really important to recognize that. And whether you have a £5,000 budget or a £50,000 budget, if you're marrying the person you love and you've got the stuff you want around you, then you're going to have a wonderful wedding, right?
Yeah, that's so
I think it's really important to clear that up. There's no like what you should spend to have a good wedding. And now we'll get into why costs are rising. So we're all aware of the cost of living, because he lives, big deal. And that is pushing up costs for vendors as well as just us in our everyday lives. You know, suppliers are costing more money, so prices have to go up so they can continue to make a living. And that is having a knock-on effect in weddings, but also guest lists are growing. So we saw this year that the wedding guest list went from on average 80 guests to 89 guests.
Wow.
9 extra guests, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when I tell you that the average wedding guest costs couples £241, and I think 26 pence if we're going to be really specific.
That is a lot of money. I don't know if I'd be spending that on everyone I was planning on inviting to a wedding.
Yeah, and when you think about that, again, it's an average, but it's a good way to think about it. If you're unsure who to invite to your wedding, think about, would I happily spend £241 and 26 pence on this person?
Oh, I think I'm kicking quite a few people off the list if that's the case.
Exactly.
Gosh, oh my goodness. Right, so we know how much an average wedding is going to cost this year. We know how much it costs per person. What about tips on saving money if you are planning a wedding this year? Do you have any tricks for couples?
I do. I have so many. Okay. So on Hitch, we have a really great budget tool, right? And you can put in how much you want to spend on your wedding, and it will break down for you suggested spends for categories. They are just a sort of guiding rule of thumb, and then you can change it to suit you. And that helps you to keep track of your budget. Because I think knowing what you want to spend, knowing how you're going to spend it, and making sure that you are keeping track of your spends is key to staying on budget. But the other thing I would say is don't follow the traditional wedding template if it doesn't work for you. Don't think that you have to have all these different things that make up a wedding because you've seen other people do it. Instead, look at what you really want, the stuff that makes you go like, oh, I cannot wait to bring this to life in front of my guests. Focus on that. Don't spend on things that don't make your heart sing, because you'll regret it. You should only spend on the stuff you really, really love and prioritize that. And then you won't begrudge what you're spending. And I think that's the best way to plan your budget.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. And if you do want more advice on how to budget for your wedding, go to hitch.co.uk. And if you haven't already, please like, follow and share this video.
And if you have any thoughts, feelings and ideas on the cost of weddings and how to budget for a wedding, please do pop it in the comments, because we'd love to hear from you.